Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
And at this point, we're going to listen to DeAnna's speech, which I'm actually pretty excited about. The topic is here. Let me find. So DeAnna Lam. She actually just had to step out at the last minute, but she did send a video, which we're super excited that she did that, because that's not everyone did who had any conflicts. So let me just tell you a little bit about her. DeAnna Lam, fondly known as the womb visionary, DeAnna has been on the leading edge of the global red tent movement since its beginning and has trained women in over 30 countries. DeAnna brought menstrual empowerment work to Israel, her country of origin, helping Jewish and Arab women surpass political and religious differences by deeply bonding around the shared cyclical nature. She's the author of Becoming Peers, Mentoring Girls into Womanhood, and A Diva's Guide to Getting Your Period, founder of Red Moon School of Empowerment for Women and Girls, Red Tents in Every Neighborhood, global network, Womb Activation Day. They do that yearly on August 31st, and International Red Tent Day, which is November 8th yearly. You can visit her at DeAnnaLam.com, and we're going to listen to her presentation now. I will share my screen, and I believe we are a go. So let me start this.
Hello, this is DeAnna Lam of Red Tent in Every Neighborhood, and I'm here today to speak to you about our womb as a compass. Imagine you're going on a road trip in a car and you have no map and you don't know where north is and you're hoping to get where you want to be. Well, hoping is great, but what would guide you on your way? How would you get there? Do you have the tools? So I'm here to invite you to entertain the idea that our body has tools, our heart and our womb. We have a heart as human beings that shows us where true north is, if you like. And we have a womb as women that shows us the direction that we need to go in our cyclical journey as women. As women, we live in a linear world and we're cyclical beings. So imagine that you are trying to get where you want to be in a road that is not accommodating you, that is full of obstacles. But if you knew that there was a map and a compass that could show you a way around the obstacle to easily surpass the obstacle and get where you want in a fluid way rather than in a straight way, which is bumping towards obstacles and boulders and mountains and valleys and places that you can't reach and can't cross. How would that be? I'd like to invite you to entertain the fact that we have indeed this compass that shows us the way inside of ourselves as women, which is our womb. Our womb is an organ which is much more than physical, is a spiritual organ of guidance. It expands and it contracts with the moon. When we are born as human beings on earth, we're all solar. But at the first menstrual blood, menarche, which girls receive at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, it changes for every girl. When she receives her first cycle, her first menstrual blood, she is being born into the lunar rhythm. So from the solar rhythm that we all were born with and all human beings continue on, we are moving as girls, becoming women, from the solar path to a lunar path, which is cyclical. And because we live in a linear world, in a solar world, we're trying to fit our round peg into a square hole. And that is not possible. So rather than trying to be so crammed into a hole that is not fitting who we are, into taking a road that is squeezing us, let's see what the alternatives are. And we have a lot of alternatives. The alternatives are to listen to our body. What does it mean to be lunar? To be lunar is to realize that, like the moon, we are cyclical, we expand and contract. Our emotional life, our mood lives, our spirit lives are not linear. They are cyclical and they expand and they contract with the moon. The moon expands to full and lessens to new and grows again. This is true. This is a picture of our needs as women beings. Our needs to be out in the world, to be extroverted, to be interacting with people, to be in the hustle and bustle of life, as well as our needs to go inward, to withdraw, to renew ourselves, to go into quietude, into solitude, to release the months that have gone before, and to renew ourselves so that we're recharged for another cycle that we can then expand in. This is very different than the solar life. If you think of the sun, it never diminishes, its light never diminishes, its light never lessens. There isn't a half sun or a crescent sun. The sun is always full. And masculinity in its spiritual lit form, because we all as women and men have shadows. So if we're looking at the light field essence of masculinity, it is like the sun. It always is dependable, always shines, always bright, always full, always emanating light, and very dependable and trustworthy and shows up. How would that be to live your life as a solar being, however you identify as a solar being, whichever body you're in, and knowing that you have the capacity to always shine, that no matter what your mood is, there is a light in you that you can spread. You can block it or you can spread it. Those are your choices, but the light is always full within you when you're solar. And how would it be like if you were aware that as a lunar being, however whatever body you are in, but identified as a lunar being, that you would know that you have permission to cycle from inward to outward, from withdrawal to expansion, from introversion to extroversion, that you have permission to not have every day of the month be the same. I grew up in Israel, where I remember as a child having ads for a tampon brand, which I don't remember what it was and it doesn't matter, but it said that with this tampon, you will have every day of the month be the same. And at that point in my life as a girl, I thought it's a good thing, having every day of the life be the same. But that's not how we are hardwired as women. Every day of our life is not the same. We are lunar and we're cyclical. So there are times when we need to be quiet. There are times when we need to go dream and renew and receive inspiration from within. There are times when we need to release and let go of the month that has gone by. There are times when we need to recharge our batteries and we can't bear people around us. And there are times when we just expand and love the hustle and bustle, and love the interaction, and love the communication, and love being with people, and love being in noisy or full of activity situations. We're not always the same. What happens is that because we are socialized to be solar, because we're socialized to be lunar, no, we are lunar and we're socialized to be solar, we are finding ourselves bumping against our nature. So when every fiber of our being is calling us to go inward and to renew ourselves, we push and push and push to perform and to have every day be the same and to be like the sun, which we are not. And what that results in is mostly symptoms, emotional and physical. PMS symptoms that are pain and discomfort and dis-ease and ailment in our body, and PMS symptoms that are discomfort and dis-ease and ailment in our emotional life. Many women find themselves extremely irritable when they are close to their cycle, extremely hypersensitive, raging, angry, depressed. What are all of these? What are all of these symptoms? They are messengers. They're not a necessary evil. They're not how things should be. We are able and it is possible for us to live symptom-free. Yes, those days are intense, but they don't have to be painful. They don't have to be full of suffering. And why are we suffering with those symptoms and with those ailments, both physical and emotional? It is because we are feeling the tension between our need to go inward and the cultural pull to be outward going. And when every fiber of your being calls for rest and quietude, and you don't recognize it and you don't give yourself permission to do so, then your body begins to rebel. And how does the body rebel? In symptoms. And the more we ignore the symptoms and just shove down medications and ignore the signals that call us to stop, simply stop and go inward. The more we ignore that, the louder our body will scream with symptoms and with pain and with discomfort. So what's the way out? The way out is, first of all, to recognize that we have a compass, that our womb is a compass that calls our attention to how we can travel the cyclical monthly path from one need to another, from one mode of being to another, that we can consult ourselves and inquire within to see what is required, what our soul and body need, rather than what is expected of us from the outside world. So I know that we are all in the world, we often work, we have children, we have responsibilities, we have a lot of demands on our time and on our attention, but we need to be on our own radar. We don't pay attention to our needs and the demands of our soul and our body. And if we stop ignoring ourselves and only look at what other people need from us, if we bring ourselves into the equation, we bring ourselves into the picture and realize that we have permission. Not only we have a compass, but we have permission to listen to it. And why wouldn't you? If you were again on the road in the car traveling and you had a compass, would you not give yourself permission to use it? Would you go awry and lose your way because you don't give yourself permission to use your compass? That would make no sense when you are traveling on a road trip. It makes no sense either when you are traveling on the road of life. So acknowledging we have a compass, a soul map within our womb, and that our days are cyclical within every lunar cycle, and that our needs change, our moods change, our emotional life changes, and we can accommodate that by planning ahead. So when in your cycle are you more inclined to be inward? When in your cycle are you more inclined to be outward? The common wisdom is, and it's true for many, is that when we are menstruating or just before our menstrual cycle, we tend to need to withdraw. Not everyone, but many. And that when we are close to ovulation or ovulating, we tend to be expansive and outward. Not everyone, but many. Listen to your body. It may be that for you it's different. It may be that the moon expands and that time is when you need to be inward. It may be that the moon is lessening its light and it's new, and that's when you need to be inward. It's not in the books, it's not in the charts, it's not outside of yourself. The map, the compass is inside of you. I invite you to begin to listen to your womb, to begin to listen to your needs, to begin to listen to the initiative that your body is inviting you to take, either initiating rest inwardly or initiating action, and starting to plan your month accordingly so that you work in sync with your rhythm and not against it. There is much more to say. There is many more revelations on the path. This is the beginning. I'd like to invite you to start listening inwards and to know that if you do, your life will begin to sync with your inner compass. I invite you to travel the world as a womb conscious being, as a lunar conscious being, and together we are changing the world.
Wow. I love that. I'm not even I'm not a woman, but I related to needing to have that time to be in and to nurture, and then turn around and say, okay, now I can be the sun. And yeah, I don't have a physical womb, but I'm a creator. And so I need that time to be able to nurture and to be a better creator by taking care of myself. Even as a man, I got a lot out of that. So here I am in women's empowerment, being empowered. I love it. Get in touch with that feminine side.